Yo, what is up everyone? This is Vi, and welcome back to another Zero Death Infernum episode. In the last one we defeated many scary monsters and gave the Moonlord an abortion like in the old days. I'm very serious by the way, the chainsaws were invented for that. Look it up if you don't believe me. But with that wholesome blast from the past out of the way, let us continue with the post-Moonlord content. By first and foremost making Luminite bars, a Nebula pickaxe so that we can go and gather more Luminite and Exodium cluster ore from the planetoids that come after you defeat the Moonlord. Ooh boy, satisfaction. After that we make solar armor, solar wings and make a new weapon that is pretty much the best true melee weapon for the time being, the Stellar Striker. With the recent update it got changed a little and also resprited. I was expecting it to be nerfed, but thankfully it wasn't, so thank you very much for that devs. After that we make the Stellar Contempt alongside the Flowers of Mortality, which is a pretty good summon, though I don't know if it's actually better than our Ichor Inflicting Planes, but we'll use it regardless. We then make the summons for the Bumbleberg, Dragonfolly, sorry, old habits, and the Profaned Guardians, and go to the Profaned Garden. In Infernum we are forced to fight both the Guardians and Providence here, so let's get right into it. The fight starts with something that I never expected when I first saw Infernum, a Flappy Bird section. In my opinion it is pretty simple and in all honesty the Featherfall makes it easier. A little trick you can do is wait out your adrenaline before you kill the crystal, and then nuke the support immediately after breaking it. You have to kill them one by one, starting with the healer, who shields the commander while he is shooting a big laser that circles around him and mini lasers that go in a flower pattern, all while the defender is ramming you. Once the healer dies, the commander starts charging at you horizontally while shooting projectiles around him. The defender, who is the one you need to kill, goes above you, throwing rocks at you, and after a short delay charges down, hitting the ground, which causes lasers going upwards. After that they start clashing with each other, sending rocks in random directions. And then the commander becomes stationary, charging for a little bit and creating a circle wall around him that you're forced to stay in, which by the way does not deal damage on contact, before starting to shoot a barrage of projectiles in all directions, while the defender is charging at you. The best thing you can do here is stay as close to the wall as possible and ram dash the defender. After that the commander goes to the ground, calls down a massive laser from the ground alongside rocks to the sides, and he starts charging at you, leaving damaging dust behind him and hitting a wall which sends out more rocks around him. He then sends out a big sun, which telegraphs lines around it and after a while shoots lasers. After that the sun goes towards you and repeats the lines, but the second time the lines always stop in the 4 cardinal and the 4 intermediate directions, so you can stay down and slightly to the left and right and you always dodge it. Right after the sun hits the second time, blobs will appear around you, telegraphing where they will send out projectiles from, one of which will hit the ground and send out crosses that will go in all directions. Right after that he will do his charge attack 3 times. And his last attack is him going to the left or right of you, charging his spear for a second, after which he sends it horizontally towards you, while it sends out vertical projectiles you have to go through. He repeats all of these until he dies. After we defeat them, it appears we got lucky enough to get the War Banner of the Sun, an accessory that got massively reworked. But I'm pretty sure it's still very good in fights that require you to be very close to enemies. It multiplies all your damage based on how close you are to the enemy, scaling from minus 15% to plus 15%. Alongside that, you get Satoru Gojo's Infinity. Some cool weep stuff, am I right? But now it's time for Dragonfolly. We won't be making an arena for him, even though he's somewhat strong in Infernum. I don't really know his attacks all too well. All I know is that he spawns these red swords around you that in the later stages move and slowly start to home in more and more the lower his health gets. He charges the player constantly, releases the red swords from himself in all directions and has a lot of red lightnings that telegraph throughout the fight, with him spamming a lot of them at the very end. I died to him once, but that's because I'm ever so slightly dumb as a pile of rocks. I also used the War Banner, which at first I didn't even realize was reworked. I later found that out, but it's actually pretty bad to use it on him, since he's constantly far away from us, which means we were doing minus 15% damage almost the whole fight. But as a whole, I'd say that if you've gotten this far in your own playthrough, Dragonfolly won't be a problem at all. At least he isn't completely useless, giving us our last rage upgrade and some weapons that are not too bad, I think. Don't quote me on this one. But now it's time for my favorite boss that I used to hate a lot before I actually got a little better at the game, that being Providence the Profaned Goddess. Now, this is where I will say something that I should have said in one of the previous episodes, but I wasn't thinking about it at the time. We're getting into bosses that have a lot of attacks, upwards of 10 different attacks that are based not just on the different phases of the boss, but also on luck, that being if the boss even decides to use the specific attack as a whole. Later on we will be facing bosses that I don't even know the attacks of. As an example, the old Duke, who I forgot was even a boss in the Revengeance playthrough that we did, but I won't forget him this time around. He's an extremely quick boss with attacks I never really understood. I was just keeping my distance as much as possible and ram dashing as soon as I saw him getting close to me. Before every one of these bosses, I'll be pointing out if I don't know their attacks and only talk about the ones I know of. And we'll let you enjoy the fights without too much yapping, while using whatever music I can without getting copyrighted, of course. When you spawn Providence, always check the time, as my first attempt failed immediately because I spawned nighttime Providence, and I am absolutely nowhere near good enough to beat her. For those that want the challenge, feel free to try that, as in Infernum, if you beat her in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you will get a lunar coin, which can be used to craft one of the best and most fun accessories in the whole game, Purity. It multiplies your damage by 1.4 times and increases your attack speed by 40%, but makes you unable to crit. Of course, this effect does not work on summons unfortunately, but it is still incredible. I myself never used it, but I've seen what it's capable of. By the way, both her and the Guardians give you infinite flight. Once you spawn her, she is stationary, taking massively reduced damage and pulling in projectiles from around her that come from your location. A little trick you can do is to go directly up and drop down as soon as you see them coming, like you see me do. But that only works for a little bit, as after some time she will start shooting projectiles outwards as well. After a while longer, she will sprout her wings and start flying around, where she will start dropping bombs that have a massive radius, but they explode after a very long time, indicated by the color, while also telegraphing vertical lines that drop projectiles. You have to go slowly left and right, while going up and down whenever the bombs get close to exploding. After that she will start telegraphing lines that will shoot rainbow arrows. Best way to dodge these is to keep your distance. But after damaging her to around 65% HP, she will go in the middle where she will start shooting fireballs in all directions, and again have a massive damage reduction. Easiest thing to do is to go left or right to the walls and stay there. You can shoot her in that time, but you won't be doing too much damage, so focus on dodging. You can also hook to the wall, so keep that in mind. After a while though, projectiles will start raining down as well. After that finishes, she will start spawning in mini bombs like the ones in the beginning. The trick here is to go very slowly to the other side. You can see how slow I'm flying, and by the time you reach the other wall, this phase will have ended. Once she sprouts her wings again, she will start flying around. She will start shooting big fireballs at you that shoot 4 telegraph projectiles upwards on contact with something. At some point she will stand still for a second before continuing to shoot, but this time it's with big spears. When the spears hit the ground, vertical lines will start appearing, and after a while lasers will shoot up, just like the Guardian's attack. Try to keep the spears going towards the ground, because if they hit a wall, they will shoot the lasers vertically, which in my opinion is harder to dodge. Once she is done with the spears, she will go in the middle again, we will start spamming bombs around her, and you can either go to the walls again or inside of her, whichever you prefer. And alongside that, she will start telegraphing lines horizontally and vertically that will shoot projectiles. I think it's easiest to stay next to the walls, as you can hook for better mobility. She then continues with the spears up until she reaches 25% HP, where she will start slowly submerging in the lava. And after that the crystal spawns. He spawns rocks that he sends at you alongside crosses in all directions like the Guardians, but more times. I honestly don't know how to dodge this attack, and it is definitely the most difficult attack Providence has in my opinion. But after trying to send you to heaven, the crystal will start telegraphing the flower pattern you saw in the Guardians fight and shoot while moving slowly around you. And at the end it also starts shooting the lasers that the Guardian's son was shooting. But after 7 brutal attempts we defeat her, get this very cool cutscene of her slowly disintegrating and having her crystal flying in the middle, after which we get a special appearance from the dog himself.
Oh, hello there!
Again, massive round of applause for the Infernum devs. This shit is sick. By defeating her we get the Elysian Wings and the Elysian Aegis, which is the best ram dash we can get for now, alongside the summon item for the Sentinels, which by the way is craftable, and if you struggle a lot with Providence, you can fight the Sentinels first, get some better weapons, and then refight her. We're also going to visit the jungle for a quick Yuli Bloom mining session, with which we will be making many good things, starting with Terragon armor and wings. I think the wings are better than the Elysian wings since they provide more flight time compared to the Elysian, which provide slightly more horizontal speed, but it's up to personal preference. After that we make one of my favorite weapons, the Teratomir and the Virid Vanguard, which got reworked quite heavily, and it seems very interesting, but we don't really care about that, we only use it for some increased damage. But now we fly up to space and it's time to face the first Sentinel, the Stormweaver. He doesn't have many attacks, but definitely requires some time to get used to them. The fight starts off with him flying around you while having constant gushes of wind going diagonally with small holes you have to squeeze through. After that he remains still for a second before quickly charging the player and shooting lightnings towards him. After which he becomes charged and after a while releases lightning projectiles that slightly home in on the player. He repeats those 3 attacks up until he goes down to around 50% HP. After which we make the background very cloudy, sparks will start appearing around the player and after a second we'll charge the player, while shooting projectiles around him as well. And lastly he starts circling around the player, shooting tornadoes. The trick here is to move very slowly towards a single direction. This attack seems hard, but it's actually very simple once you understand how it works. We fail a good couple of times, but on the 6th attempt we kill him and get things that are good, but not for us, like the Storm, which is an insanely good bow. But this will have to do it for this episode. The upcoming bosses will start becoming insanely difficult for us, but one way or another we will prevail. Thank you so much for watching this episode and continuously watching all of my videos. It really means a lot to me. If you liked it, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button and follow me on all of the social media down in the description. You will also find my Patreon down there, and if you like to support me even more, you can join in for just €2 a month. As you all know, completely optional as always. Special thanks to all of you again for watching all of these videos, and I hope that you will join me in the next one. Comet calling Satoru Gojo cosplaying Vi out.